Let's go live on another bicycle live stream during my holidays. Oh yeah, it's Wednesday, January the 6th at almost 7 a.m. and I've done a beautiful ride up to Emerald Lakes this morning. If you're on the Gold Coast, you'll know where that is. And I've ridden nearly 40 kilometres. So starting to head back home. It's predicted to start raining from around 10 a.m. So I want to get home before then. Okay, now this morning's topic is called "What is the only thing you can control in your life?" And it's something I spoke about probably over a year ago now, but it's good to have a bit of a refresher. I'm giving it a different title to what I gave it when I spoke about it a year ago, but it's really important to understand. Just bear with me whilst I check the traffic, which looks good. And the reason why it's important to understand is because I'm going to talk about the actual only thing in our lives that we can control. And knowing this is very powerful because it liberates us. It not only liberates us from the illusion of thinking that there are many things that we can control and wasting energy on it, and also becoming sort of frustrated and demoralized by that belief. Not only does it liberate us from that, but it gives us something to focus on, where to concentrate our energy in order to achieve results in living a happy, healthy life. So just a moment, get the traffic going past. So I forget I'm riding during the week and there are people going to work, so it's a little bit busier than usual. So we have free will, and by the grace of God, we have the ability to make choices in our life. But the choices that we make are extremely presented to us in a very limited way, and we're not actually making choices. What we're making is decisions with the lessons that are presented to us in how we will respond to them. So when I spoke about this understanding previously, I called it our response ability. In other words, our ability to respond depending on where we set our free will to, basically, where we choose to respond from. And it also comes back to depending on how well we understand that we have the power to choose the way we respond. But beyond that, any other sort of ideas or concepts that we have that we are in control are borne out by our experience of being incorrect. Our control is primarily based on how we respond to things through our free will. When we know this, we will shift our focus into one of concentrating on where we have power and not putting ourselves in a position of frustration from where we don't have power. For instance, if I'm still in the illusion of thinking that I can control outcomes that are beyond my immediate willpower, if I'm in the illusion of thinking that I can control the way other people think and feel and behave, then I'm setting myself up for living a life of frustration, because I'm going to try to control people because I don't know that I can't do that. And what I'm going to end up with is an experience of I'm unable to control people. They just do what they want to do. And I think, this is really frustrating. And a result of that is that I can end up angry, bitter, dissatisfied with life, because people won't do what I want them to do. Now, you know, that's a very, 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 very common experience for a lot of people. And to understand why we have that desire or that need, we've got to understand that we want to be able to control things from the perspective of a false ego. So we want to be in control, but we have such limited power, such limited ability to do it. So we just need to come back to focusing on this response ability. Our ability, our strength is in how we respond to the lessons that life throws at us. Now, you know, you might say, okay, what about if I choose to make very good decisions in life? I choose to eat healthy. I choose to, you know, have a very healthy mindset and a very healthy, you know, way of living. And you can say, that's fine. But that does not, I mean, that's certainly helpful. My glasses are fogging up. It's certainly helpful in the way that we approach our life. It's certainly conducive to living more happily and healthily, but it does not prevent us necessarily from facing the lessons that life has arranged for us. And these lessons, or the universe has arranged for us. And these lessons might be that despite how healthy we are, that we still end up getting cancer. And despite how healthy we are, we still end up in a domestic, violent domestic relationship. You know, despite how at peace and zen we are, our neighbours might be death metal addicts or something that like blasting it out at 2 o'clock in the morning. And we're like, damn, I can't control this. I can't control this cancer. So, you know, if I can't control the cancer, if I can't control my neighbours, if I can't control my domestic relationship, what can I control? The way I respond to it. That's our power. That's free will in action. So when the challenges of life come up, the way that we respond to them is the difference between being, hang on a second, is the difference between being a wise person who sees events as lessons and uses the power of free will and the power of their ability to control how we respond to things. We use that as something very, very as something very powerful. So the wise person does that. The reactive person, and we do live in a world where there's a lot of reactive people, the reactive person has I guess you could say, a reactive response where they don't, it's almost like an animal that just growls at us as we walk past them. They don't even think about it. They just react. It's so conditional, so conditioned, so habitual that they react to events occurring around them. They don't respond, they react. There's not a deep thinking process going on there. And not only does that happen, but there tends to be a lot of blame thrown around when a person is reactive rather than responsive. There's a lot of, you know, you did this to me, and you know, this is happening because of them, and you know, that sort of thing. Now it's very sad to be in that state of mind because quite simply we cannot grow. I've spoken about this many times before, but we cannot make personal progress if we are still holding on to an energy and a belief system that says that other people have power over us. Now, you might say, no, hang on, that can't be right because you just said that we can't control them. That's right, we can't control them. We can, however, control the way we respond. and this is important, nobody has any power over us other than what we believe and allow. So when we say, oh, you know, you did this to me, it's like, no. That person didn't do that to you. You responded to a situation involving that other person, and your response was entirely up to you. Your response was free will, and entirely up to you. You see where the power is there? It's like, oh, this is powerful. So you mean to say, because of my free will, I can choose to respond in a holistic way or in a destructive way? It's like, yes, this is where your power is. So you move away from saying, oh, you did this to me and you treated me badly and you yelled at me and you left me and you, right? It's like, nothing to do with them. It's to do with how I respond to the things happening in my world. I can't control the things happening in my world, but I can sure as hell control how I respond. This is our power. This is our response ability. We all have it. It's an ability we're all born with. It's free will. And, you know, another excuse I hear, because people always have excuses, another excuse I hear is, oh yeah, but what about kids and babies and whatever that were mistreated and, you know, before they even had the ability to do anything about it? It's like, true, that this very sadly does happen. However, we can, in hindsight and with wisdom, we can decide that we are going to release the energy that we're holding on to, that we're harboring towards somebody that did something in the past towards us that may have been when we were really, really young and didn't understand what was going on. So we can choose to, with hindsight and wisdom, we can choose to then make a conscious decision to release that energy that we are holding on to, because any negative energy that we are holding on to, any hatred, any frustration, any energy along those lines that we're holding on to towards a person or a situation, whether it's current or in the past, whether it's one day in the past, whether it's 100 years in the past, whether it's 1,000 years in the past. It could be a cultural thing. We could be holding on to an energy in relation to our religion or our spiritual followings or our culture that we follow, that we're born into. We could be holding on to an energy, harboring an energy there about how our ancestors were treated or mistreated and all the wrongs that they had experienced. And if we're holding on to an energy in relation to that, we have the ability to let go of that energy. We made a decision somewhere in our life to hold on to a negative energy, and it does nothing for us. All it does is destroys our health. It festers inside, and that energy eats away at us and destroys us. So our response ability is that we can make a conscious decision, a very smart, wise decision, in the name of unconditional love, to let go. And, you know, some people then say, and I guess this is right, a reasonable excuse, they will then say, oh yeah, but, you know, that person will get away with it and all the rest. It's like, no, I'm not saying condone. We don't condone the evils of the world, the wrongs of the world, the mistreatments. This is not talking about condoning. And this comes back to forgiveness, which I've spoken about before. You forgive the sinner, not the sin. You separate the two and you understand that the actions of the person don't represent the purity of the soul within. The person is acting that way because they are completely lost. They're looking for love in all the wrong places, and their actions are proof of it. So we don't condemn them because of the horrendous treatment they may have made towards others, whether it's a historical figure that's mistreated so many people, or whether it's a just on a personal level where somebody's mistreated just us. What we understand is they are the ones that need more love, not less. They need more, because their actions are the actions of someone so far removed from feeling love that they do things that are horrendous, that are indescribable, that boggle the mind. Why? Because they're not feeling loved. So, I'll wrap it up now. Remember, all of us, the only thing we can control in our life is how we respond to the lessons coming to us. And when you harness that power, you can make huge inroads into personal growth and into your ability to stay in a place of peace and unconditional love. I hope you have a great day. Live vegan and save lives. And I'll speak to you soon. Ahimsa.